This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm Congressman Ron Estes from Wichita, so I represent the 4th District of Kansas. So it was great to be here today at Farm Bureau annual meeting, talking about some of the great things that we've got going on in the country. The economy's going great, which helps out with a lot of things. Right now we've got a lot of trade issues that we're working on trying to resolve. Obviously USMCA is the one that's front and foremost on everything that we're looking at, which is a great deal. NAFTA was a great deal for so much of the agriculture throughout Kansas and throughout a good part of our country, and USMCA will even make that better. And unfortunately the politics in Washington have gotten in the way a little bit in terms of making sure that we get that done. The Speaker, really, we're waiting on the Speaker to bring it to the floor. It'll pass. There'll be 75 or 100 Democrats in the House to vote for it because they recognize that we've got increased economic growth, we've got additional jobs, we've got more exports, more imports, and so it's all a positive thing. And Mexico's gone ahead, they've changed the laws in their country to make it work. Canada, they just did their parliamentary elections, and so they're reforming the government and going to reintroduce the bill there. And so really they're waiting on us to take the lead and move that forward, and that's such a positive thing for us in the state and in the country. The NAFTA and the USMCA, US-Mexico-Canada agreement, are not a treaty per se, that you'd have between two countries and get ratified by the Senate. But actually it's an umbrella agreement by our three countries, Mexico, Canada, and the United States, to change the respective laws in our countries to match that umbrella agreement. And so Mexico's actually gone ahead and changed their laws already. The White House has language prepared, actually first introduced it a year ago in terms of draft language. And so want to make sure that gets presented so that we can then pass that to change the respective laws in the United States. And it affects things like, NAFTA gave some advantage to Canadian dairy, and this is going to change that in terms of that and level the playing field. NAFTA also had some loopholes around labor and wages and that, which is why we did not see as much growth in wages in Mexico as was expected. And so the USMCA will close that. And so there's just so many things that are great in this process. Right now the step is the United States, we need to change our laws, and we need to get that introduced and changed, passed in Congress. And there's been some positive things on water, particularly in Quivira. And obviously there's a lot of water issues throughout the state, but Quivira has been one of those most recent struggles over the last couple of years to address. And it's good to see that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has dedicated or indicated that they're not going to request any additional water or demand any additional water this fiscal year, which is appropriate. It gives us some time now with the GMDs to work and to focus on what should we do going forward. Some of the things being talked about obviously were not sustainable for agriculture, particularly in that part of the state south central, southwest Kansas, and so we've got to come up with a better solution. I'm glad to see that now we've got some time to actually work through that. But there's a lot of other issues that we need to work on as well, and broadband's one of those. It's so critical now with technology getting the way it is to allow our Kansas farmers to compete across the world, across the country certainly, but across the world as well. And being able to upload all the data that they collect, all of our equipment now can collect that information, be able to communicate back and forth, not just with other pieces of equipment on the farm, but also across the country, across the world. And so it's so critical that we address that rural broadband issue. We've funded some things. Obviously the Farm Bill came up with a lot of funding to help move that along. We've appropriated money for that. We need to continue to make that process go forward. But that's just the beginning point. We need to do more. We need to look at broadband as the next rural electric system that we need to implement because it affects all of our daily lives, and that's what we need to approach and need to focus on.